Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my humble obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Before reciting Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagvatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagvatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear friends, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, on this auspicious day of Ekadashi, text 23 and 24. Shri Prahlada Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktischena Navalakshana Kriyate Bhagavati Adha Tanmanye Adhitam Uttamam. So Prahlad Maharaj is telling the best thing to his father, Uttama, learning, is Shravanam, Kirtanam, and the 9 processes of bhakti. So we discussed 2 out of those 9 yesterday. We were talking about Kirtanam, chanting the names, form, qualities of the Supreme Lord, individually as japa and collectively as kirtan. So let's move to the next aspect, next limb of bhakti, Smaranam. So I'm reading the purport from the point Smaranam. After one regularly performs the processes of hearing and chanting, and after the core of one's heart is cleaned, Smaranam, remembering, is recommended. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.11, Shukadev Goswami tells King Parikshit, Etan nirvidyamananam Chatam akuto bhayam yoginam nripa nirnitam harer namanukirtanam. O king, for great yogis who have completely renounced all material connections, for those who desire all material enjoyment, and for those who are self-satisfied by the dint of transcendental knowledge, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord is recommended. According to different relationships with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are varieties of Namanukirtanam, chanting of the holy name, and thus according to different relationship and mellows, there are 5 kinds of remembering. These are as follows. Number 1, conducting research into the worship of a particular form of the Lord. B, concentrating the mind on one subject and withdrawing the mind's activities of thinking, feeling, and willing from other subjects. C, concentrating upon a particular form of the Lord. This is called meditation. D, concentrating one's mind continuously on the form of the Lord. This is called Dhruva Anusmriti, or perfect meditation. Number E, awakening a liking for concentration upon a particular form. This is called samadhi or trance. Mental concentration upon particular pastimes of the Lord in particular circumstances is also called remembrance. Therefore, samadhi or trance can be possible in 5 different ways in terms of one's relationship. Specifically, the trance of devotees on the stage of neutrality is called mental concentration. So, this is the topic of Smaranam, or remembering. So, Smaranam has to be followed by after hearing and chanting, because unless one hears about the Supreme Lord, someone's phone is not on mute. I humbly request everyone, when you're not speaking, you can keep your phones on mute. So after hearing and chanting Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, then comes Smaranam. Because unless one hears from the authorized sources, from the authorized scriptures, what will one remember? So just these days there are so many different types of people conducting research, etc. But the real meditation is meditating upon the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So, meditating upon the pastimes, remembering those. And we can do that anywhere. Let's say we are driving, we can remember what we have heard. And when we remember, it goes deeper in our consciousness. So, Smaranam is basically remembering Krishna, remembering Krishna's pastimes, remembering his glories, glorifying, remembering the verses, remembering anything in connection with Krishna. And Prabhupada is mentioning multiple types, the 5 types. The best Dhruva Smriti, perfect meditation, is continuously thinking on the form of the Lord. We see that Narad Muni was meditating upon the form, Dhruva is meditating, Prahlad Maharaj, and then that form which they were meditating in manifested out as the Supreme Lord came. So, who is the Acharya of Smaranam? Anyone remembers that? We discussed a few times. Yes. Shravanam is?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Very nice. And Kirtanam?
Sukhdev Goswami.
Sukhdev Goswami.
Thank you. So, there are multiple devotees who have exhibited great Shravanam, great Kirtanam, great Smaranam, but these are like considered, really topmost. So, it's not that they are the only ones, but yes, they are. Like, for example, Kirtanam, Haridas Thakur also. The one devotee was giving like parallels in Ramayana also. There are different set of Acharya for hearing, chanting, etc. But yeah, these are the really considered, who have shown example. Prahlad Maharaj, just think about the situation he was in, but he was always remembering Krishna. That Krishna will be there to help me. Krishna will always be there. That was, he cannot even for one moment think of non-Krishna conscious things. As Bhadra Prabhu mentioned the other day, when his father asked me, tell me what your teacher said, he was thinking about Narad Muni, and he spoke, okay, my teachers told me this. He was always remembering in his heart. Never for a moment he was away from Krishna. Why? Because he had good hearing. So good hearing, good kirtan would lead to good remembrance. But if we hear TV, gossips, mundane criticism, fault finding, prajalpa, then what will we remember? Whatever garbage in, garbage out, garbage inside. So that will keep moving in our consciousness. The Smaranam will be of those things which we are inputting through our eyes, ears, etc. Any other comments anyone has?
Hare Krishna, Danvat Prabhus. Can I make one point, please?
Yeah, please, Prabhu.
Thank you. Here the point is mentioned about the particular form of the Lord, and which is important for the Grahasthas, for everybody, the particular Grahasthas, because just like the mother always thinks of her son or daughter. When mother is even far away from the distance, she always thinks of her son and the daughter. Did he eat? Did she eat? Did he get up early? All these things. So in our situation and devotee situation, it is important that we have our Ishtadev. Everybody has a Ishtadev to worship. Everybody likes certain form of the Lord which they like to worship. And just like the pujari in the temple, she or he is always thinking to go to make sure everything goes on time and offering is done, put his deities to put the sleep and all these things. So similarly, we concentrate our mind on the form of the Lord which we have in our home, deity worship, and we concentrate on and remember that all the time to do certain thing need to be done. And then there is a reciprocation between the devotee and that particular Ishtadev, the Lord, form of the Lord. And that is the remembrance, and that helps us to guide ourselves and thinking, Srila Prabhupada is talking about thinking, feeling, willing. So that helps us to think of the Lord all the time. And that's Ishtadev. So at the time of the death, Lord will remind us, because we serve the Lord. Then even in case we are in coma, if I'm in coma, then Lord will remind me, because he sees that I have taken care. I might be forget, but Lord will not forget for the service. So this was kind of one point. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. A nice point. Anyone else has any other comments on this topic? And that directly, Bhadra Prabhu's comment directly ties to the deity can be of course it's transcendental, but the deity can be made of wood, metal, clay, etc. And one is mind. And there are multiple examples, like the brahmachari who was very, very poor. He did not have any much to offer, but he learned that, the deity can be offered mentally also. So he started to offer the deity, started to cook for the deity. Got a very nice vessel and he started to cook kheer. And he said, I'll get the best ingredients. We got the milk from Padmagandha cows, the best milk, and started boiling. We got the best quality rice, started put the rice and all the camphor, everything, the ingredients for the kheer, and then he wanted to offer. But before he could offer, he wanted to make sure that it is not too hot, because Lord is persons. We should not offer too hot or too cold things to the Lord. So he then touched his finger in that mental, everything is going in the mind, in that container, in that pot of kheer or sweet rice, and then his finger was burned and his meditation was disturbed. So which shows that everything, the Lord does accept mentally also. But with that being said, that's for those situations where the physical worship is not possible, because we are not at that advanced stage that I'll say, okay, I'll just mentally go to the temple, I'll mentally go to Vrindavan. It is very good. If we can't go, like for now, let's say we can't go to the temple, we can at least mentally go, I'm going, I'm offering my obeisance to Prabhupada, we speak the mantra, I'm offering my obeisance to Radha Shyam Sundar, Gaurnitai, Krishna Balaram, so this is absolutely fine, and we're meditating upon that form. But if we don't go regularly or doing virtual parikrama mentally and by hearing and remembering, but the point is for less advanced or neophytes like myself, if we don't do the hearing and chanting, then the Smaranam will not be there. So the deities can be in mind also. Let's say one is in a situation and one has to, let's say, take some salad, and there is no temple, there is no prasad, one has to, okay, it's okay, no, one can take salad, but one can offer that mentally in that mind. So based on time, place, situations. So that is remembrance. At least we are remembering Krishna, we are remembering and we are mentally offering, etc. Okay, let's read Pada Sevanam. Would someone like to read, please?
Yeah, I can read. Hare Krishna devotees, Pada Sevanam. According to one's taste and strength, hearing, chanting and remembrance may be followed by Pada Sevanam. One obtains the perfection of remembering when one constantly thinks of the lotus feet of the Lord. Being intensely attached to thinking of the Lord's lotus feet is called Pada Sevanam. When one is particularly adherent to the process of Pada Sevanam, this process gradually includes other processes, such as seeing the form of the Lord, touching the form of the Lord, circumambulating the form or temple of the Lord, visiting such places as Jagannath Puri, Dwarka and Mathura to see the Lord's form, and bathing in the Ganges or Yamuna. Bathing in the Ganges and serving a pure Vaishnava, also known as Tatya Upasanam. This is also Pada Sevanam. The word Tatya means relationship with the Lord. Service to the Vaishnava, the Tulasi, Ganges, and Yamuna are included in Pada Sevanam. All these processes of Pada Sevanam help one advance in spiritual life very quickly. Shall I stop here?
Yes, true.
Okay, so this is the next part of it, remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. Whenever we offer our prayers, constantly thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord brings attachment to the Lord. So part of included in all this is circumambulating the temples, going to such holy places as Jagannath Puri, Dwarka, Mathura, and so on, and bathing in sacred rivers in India, the Ganges and Yamuna. Yeah, I'll let you add more, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So basically two main points. One, directly remembering or serving Krishna's lotus feet. But now I'll say, oh well, I cannot even touch the lotus feet. I am what to speak of serving Krishna's devotees or anything in relation with Krishna, using serving those, like using our feet also to go to the holy places is also part of Pada Sevanam. So the Acharya here is the Lakshmi Devi, who is always engaged in serving the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Well, no one say, how can I massage the Lord Vishnu's lotus feet? Probably we cannot do that physically. We can do that mentally for sure, remember. And we can offer Tulasi Devi to the lotus feet of Lord every day. That is the very, very bona fide process, and we should try to do. Krishna is very happy. It is a very small act, but it is very, very powerful act. That's Pada Sevanam too. When we are taking the Charanamrita, which has washed the lotus feet, that's also, we are remembering Krishna's lotus feet, that this is coming from Krishna's lotus feet. Bathing in the Ganges, which is also coming from Krishna's lotus feet. Using our feet to go to the temple is also Pada Sevanam, because in earlier days they would not drive cars and they would walk to the temple, they would walk to the holy places, Jagannath Puri, Vrindavan, etc. So that's Pada Sevanam. And we should be grateful that Krishna has given us the feet which are working. Sometimes we take the things for granted, but these feet, these legs are helping us to engage in the process of bhakti, Pada Sevanam. Then we will value them more and use them, take care of them and use them for Pada Sevanam. So now we are not walking to the temple, but driving the car and going to the temple, that's also Pada Sevanam. Where we're massaging the feet of senior Vaishnavas or devotees, that's also Pada Sevanam. And we must do, if they allow. If they allow, it's their fortune. We must do. Any other comments anyone has?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dhanavad. Remember in Ramayana, when Sita was kidnapped and after death, she threw all the bangles and everything. And the Lakshman for all these 14 years, he had never seen Sita's face even. He always saw the Sita's lotus feet. The worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord or the devotees is also makes us humble, isn't it? I mean, I can see myself. If I try to see the form of the Lord of Radha Krishna, then a tendency to see, mind has tendency to think something else. But if you meditate just on the lotus feet of the Lord and that makes us humble, then gradually that helps us, and Lord within the heart sees that what my desire is, and Lord change the desire, and ultimately we go up. And that's why even Srimad Bhagvatam, we know the first, second canto, lotus feet of the Lord, remembering the Lord. So that is one of the points. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Any other comments or questions? Okay, let's go to the next process, Archanam. From Sivilas Prabhu, you want to read 1 or 2 paragraphs?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, not in a position Prabhuji today, sorry. Thank you.
Anyone? Prabir Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Archanam. After Pada Sevanam comes the process of Archanam, worship of the deity. If one is interested in the process of Archanam, one must positively take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and learn the process from him. There are many books for Archana, especially Narad Pancharatra. In this age, the Pancharatra system is particularly recommended for Archana, deity worship. There are 2 systems of Archana, the Bhagavata system and the Pancaratriki system. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no recommendation of Pancaratriki worship, because in this Kali Yuga, even without deity worship, everything can be perfectly performed simply through hearing, chanting, remembering and worship of the lotus feet of the Lord. Rupa Goswami says, Shri Vishnu Sravane Parikshit Abhavad Boyashait Kirtane Prahlada Smarane Tad Angri Bhajane Lakshmi Prithu Pujane Okuras Ta Abhivadane Kapipoti Daishe Atha Shoikhe Arjuna Sarvatam Nivedane Balir Abhut Krishnaptir Esham Param. Parikshit Maharaj attained salvation simply by hearing, and Shukadev Goswami attained salvation simply by chanting. Prahlad Maharaj attained salvation by remembering the Lord. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, attained perfection by worshipping the lotus feet, by worshipping the Lord's lotus feet. Prithu Maharaj attained salvation by worshipping the deity of the Lord. Akrura attained salvation by offering prayers. Hanuman by rendering service. Arjuna by establishing friendship with the Lord. And Bali Maharaj by offering everything to the service of the Lord. All these great devotees serve the Lord according to a particular process, but every one of them attained salvation and became eligible to return home back to Godhead. This is explained in Srimad Bhagvatam. So I am stopping here. So here Srila Prabhupada in Archanam, it is the next process after the Pada Sevanam. And Prabhupada, the first guideline is to do the Archanam, it has to be done under a bona fide spiritual master. We cannot concoct anything. It has to be learned by a bona fide spiritual master, learned from a bona fide spiritual master, and learn the process from him. So that is the first requirement. And then Prabhupada explaining here there are two types of Archana. One is for the deity worship, one is Narada Pancharatrika and the Bhagavat system. And then Prabhupada explaining for the 9 devotional process, as Prabhuji was mentioning, even though there are so many other devotees there, like we can say for Narad Muni, he is always remembering, or we mentioned that Srila Haridas Thakur was always chanting, but Srila Rupa Goswami gave us that we can, the reason maybe he gave the specific person's name because easily to follow them. Like Prahlad Maharaj, his ability to hear Srila Sukdev Goswami's chanting, Sri Parikshit Maharaj's ability to hear Srila Sukdev Goswami's chanting, Prahlad Maharaj Smaranam, and Lakshmi Devi's, which we heard Father Sevanam, and Prabhuji explained so nicely that there are Father Sevanam is not only like message of the feet of the lotus feet of the Lord, but it can be also devotees, Vaishnav, senior Vaishnavas, or just going to the temple, walking, going to the Vrindavan, giving Govardhan Parikrama. I just want to add here one thing that our great Bhadra Prabhu, during Kartik, he gives Govardhan Parikrama every day, daily. I mean, so we can see from his, we can take these blessings from him. And then as Prithu Maharaj, Prabhupada is saying for Archana, and Akrura is for Bandhan of prayer, Hanuman by rendering service, and Arjuna as the friendship, and Bali Maharaj. And all these actually 9 processes are present in all these 9 processes are present in Sri Ambarish Maharaj. Hare Krishna Guru, back to you. Please, Advocate.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, let's read more. Prabhupada is giving very elaborate purport in the Archanam section only. So let's try to complete the Archanam section if we can. And then later we can discuss or any questions if so. Would someone like to read next 2-3 paragraphs? Anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Raghunandan Prabhuji, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. It is therefore recommended that initiated devotees follow the principles of Narada Pancharatra by worshipping the deity in the temple, especially for householder devotees who are opulent in material possessions. The path of deity worship is strongly recommended. An opulent householder devotee who does not engage his hard-earned money in the service of the Lord is called a miser. One should not engage paid brahmanas to worship the deity. If one does not personally worship the deity but engages paid servants instead, he is considered lazy, and his worship of the deity is called artificial. An opulent householder can collect luxurious paraphernalia for deity worship, and consequently for householder devotees, the worship of the deity is compulsory. In our Krishna consciousness movement, there are brahmacharis, grahasthas, vanaprasthas and sannyasis, but the deity worship in the temple should be performed, especially by the householders. The brahmacharis can go with the sannyasis to preach, and the vanaprasthas should prepare themselves for the next status of renounced life, sannyas. Grahastha devotees, however, are generally engaged in material activities, and therefore, if they do not take to deity worship, their falling down is positively assured. Deity worship means following the rules and regulations precisely. That will keep one steady in devotional service. Generally, householders have children, and then the wives of the householders should be engaged in caring for the children, just as women acting as teachers care for the children in a nursery school. Grahastha devotees must adopt the arcana-vidhi, or deity worship, according to the suitable arrangements and directions given by the spiritual master. Regarding those unable to take to the deity worship in the temple, there is the following statement in the Agni Purana. Any householder devotee circumstantially unable to worship the deity must at least see the deity worship, and in this way he may achieve success also. The special purpose of deity worship is to keep oneself always pure and clean. Grahastha devotees should be actual examples of cleanliness. I will read one more paragraph and then stop. Deity worship should be continued along with hearing and chanting. Therefore, every mantra is preceded by the word Namaha. In all the mantras, there are specific potencies, of which the Grahastha devotees must take advantage. There are many mantras preceded by the word Namaha, but if one chants the holy name of the Lord, he receives the result of chanting Namaha many times. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can reach the platform of love of Godhead. One might ask, then what is the necessity of being initiated? The answer is that even though the chanting of the holy name is sufficient to enable one to progress in spiritual life to the standard of love of Godhead, one is nonetheless susceptible to contamination because of possessing a material body. Consequently, special stress is given to the arcana-vidhi. One should therefore regularly take advantage of both the Bhagavata process and Pancaratriki process. So Prabhupada is putting the deity worship in the context of Grahasthas, householders. So if we look at the four varnas, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas, only the Grahastha is more in the engagement of activities that earns money. Brahmacharis do not work and earn money, Sannyasis do not, and Vanaprasthas are in the retired stage of life and moving towards sannyas, so they don't. So it falls on the Grahasthas who are earning money to support deity worship in the temple by donations and contributions on a regular basis. So, and then also providing charity and donations to brahmacharis and sannyasis and senior devotees in the vanaprastha stage. And we have many such devotees in our ISKCON movement itself. So it becomes a duty of the householder to support them like that. And it's also a form of deity service. We are supporting the temple and the deity worship by making regular contributions and helping in preaching to continue, distribution of books to continue. So there are different programs, that creative programs that have been brought out within our ISKCON movement, and we can ask Grahasthas who are earning and who have some money to contribute towards that. It can be made that. So that's a very interesting connection that Prabhupada is making about the householder specifically. And deity worship brings in two important spiritual qualities into focus, which is cleanliness and regulation. When we have deities at home and we are serving the deities regularly according to the guidance of the spiritual master, we are expected to maintain certain standards of cleanliness by default in worshipping and serving the deities at home, and there are much more stricter standards if it's at the temple. So cleanliness, timeliness, being regulated, so it helps in purifying our consciousness and keeping us steady and regulated in our regular sadhana, bhakti process. So in that way, deity worship is very critical, and that's why Prabhupada is using the phrase that it is a needed service for those who are in the Grahastha ashram. So then the question might come, oh, I don't have deities at home, what should I be doing? So we might have photos of the deities, or we can even have photos of paintings of Krishna, Radha and Krishna, or Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we can have a small, simple altar, but more elegant, clean, and we can still do our worship in that way. And even when deity worship is being done, Jiva Goswami makes a point, I think in one of his sandarbhas, I believe, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra has to be accompanied along with the deity worship. That's why in our ISKCON, when we do deity worship, we sing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Even though we might be singing Guru Ashtakam for Mangalarati and so on, and even for evening Gaura Arati, after we finish that, we continue singing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So chanting and hearing has to continuously happen while we are performing all these other limbs of devotional service, and especially when it comes to deity worship. And Namaha, one time I heard that Namaha means like I offer myself unto you. So that is the root meaning of that word. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I offer respectful obeisances unto Vasudeva. Om Namo Narayanaya. So like that, that's why Prabhupada is alluding to many mantras that start with Namaha or even end with Namaha. And then even in Canto 1 we have seen Queen Kunti's prayers, Bhishma Deva's prayers. They keep saying Namaha, I offer myself unto you. So when we are even reciting a mantra that has the word Namaha, or even Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it's a good practice to say, okay, I am offering myself to you in service. I am offering myself in love and devotion to you. So that is the intention. So yesterday we were talking about the body, mind, and heart stuff when it comes to kirtanam, and this is one way we could like bring the heart into play here, and then say, okay, I at least I'm trying to. I might not be there like perfectly offering myself, but at least the intention is there, the thought is there about that when we are chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or reciting some of these mantras or even performing deity service. And we have elaborate things. We offer the incense, we offer the lamp, and then we offer the arghya water, and then we offer the fresh cloth, and then the flowers. So, and we have elaborate steps, and then we started the lotus feet, and then we the chest portion of the Lord and the face of the Lord, and so it gives ample opportunity to meditate on the lotus feet and also offer ourselves at the lotus feet of the Lord. So I thought the way Prabhupada puts the explanations in the purport, he gives multiple perspectives from which we can relate with this concept of deity worship, and also he makes it more realistic and makes it more meaningful. So that's what I found these 3 paragraphs, and then it was very inspiring. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, the Bhagavat Marg and the Pancaratriki Marg go in parallel like the tracks of a train, the 2 tracks. So both are important. We should not ignore or say, oh, why come these rules and regulations, just hear and chant. We are not at that level. Can we chant 24 hours like Haridas Thakur? No. So a nice balance is required. A lot of points are there, but I think the essence is wherever our current state is, we try to move to the next step. Very simple. Some may have deities, some may not have deities, some may go to the temple, some may not do. The essence of all this, we'll be reading about the offenses, and the whole point is to move up, to take the next step. And it could be just a baby step. We may not be able to follow the temple standards, and neither is it expected at home to follow the temple standards because of the situations. But Gaur-Nitai deities are very merciful. There is not much aparadha. So whatever we are doing, we all know that, without going in much detail, we all know that if we are interested to know more, we should inquire. If we are interested, how can I improve my deity worship, we should inquire from seniors. We should ask, okay, I'm doing this, this, and this. Can you please tell what I'm doing wrong, or what should I add now? Because the upper limit is, there is huge. There is so much scope, so many mantras, tantras, pujas, this, that, offering, do's, don'ts, a lot of things are there. In fact, I also know very, very little in this aspect. But it is a very important aspect. As per Rupa Goswami, the 64 limbs of bhakti says 5 are most important. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana, Bhagavat Shravana, Mathura Vasa, Shri Murtira, Shraddhaya Sevana. So Shri Murtira, Shraddhaya Sevana referring to deity worship. So we should at least aspire to, and here the topic initiation devotees. So it's referring to second initiation in the Brahmanas do the deity worship in the temple. But getting deities at home, if we have sincere desire and if we are, with the permission, while discussing with senior Vaishnavas who are guiding us, if we have desire to worship deities, right now we may have some paintings or lamination or frame, that's also fine. But if we want to take the next step, and get the deities at home, Gaur Nitai deities or Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani deities. Prabhupada recommended these two because they are more merciful. Radha Krishna deities we should not get immediately, maybe after some time, and some time could vary. For someone it could be 3 years, or someone it could be 30 years, depending upon their interest and etc. But the point is, there's a lot to learn in this area, and His Grace Bhadra Prabhu is also a pujari and such an advanced soul, can guide more. Of course, there is a lot of purport also is pending, but the point here is that let's not get too much let's not feel dejected. Oh, there is so much, will I be ever be able to do this? Let's not think like that. Let's think, what can I do? What it should be my next step? Simple. Krishna will be happy to see if we take even a baby step forward. Very simple. And we must do this because it is important. You are all Grahasthas, and this is all important. In fact, I have seen children also like deity worship. They develop a connection. It is very good actually. It's a very healthy connection. They can get stuffed toy deities. Krishna used to sleep with his flute all the time, and I've seen some kids, they sleep with their Jagannath all the time. They have a stuffed toy Jagannath. So, absolutely fine. They're developing attachment. Somehow or the other, all these rules and regulations are meant for two things. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. These are the essence. All the other rules are subservient to these rules. Two rules. To remember Krishna and not forget Krishna. Any other comments before we move next to the next piece?
Just one small point, Bruce. Thank you. We have gone so much elaborate discussion. Srila Prabhupada gave the example. There was, I think, the businessman, big businessman in Kanpur. I'm not sure it's Kanpur or somewhere. And they have most of the big business people have in India temple in their home. And the mother had established the standard in their house that everybody in the family in the house, they have to get up, brush teeth, take a bath, and first thing they have to do is go in the temple and offer obeisances to the deities. And that was the rule she had in the whole family. Just this is the Srila Prabhupada was saying. I don't know where exactly what businessman was, but I think it was in Kanpur. So just to add one more point. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Dandavad Pranam. Thank you, Prabhu, for allowing me to speak. So, Prabhupada also said that even if you just have Gaur Nitai in your house, anybody who sleeps in the house gets benefit of offering obeisances to your deities. So when we have guests over, even they get benefited. Even if they don't do any direct deity worship, they get benefit of offering obeisances to deities. And also Gaur Nitai, Prabhupada really wanted Gaur Nitai dolls to be established in every household, even if one just offers them a fruit. So a lot of times newcomers, they will have problems at their house. One person is following, other person is not following. So it's very nice gift to give Gaur Nitai dolls to newcoming people so that they also get benefits. Back to you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. You're speaking with realization by giving opportunity to so many guests who are offering obeisance to your wonderful deities. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone has any other comments or questions so far? The Archanam process is still, the discussion is, I don't think we'll be able to complete, but we can leave that. If someone has questions, we can take some questions too. Any comments or questions?
So Hare Krishna Prabhuji, so this Pancaratrika process is listening to Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Pancaratrika process is deity worship. Is more of hearing, in the house and the temple. That is the main difference, right, Prabhuji? But of course, both are in the parallel. We should, as a Grahastha,
Can you please repeat that?
Do both
Here,
of
actually, with
them
the voice
as
breaking.
much as possible.
I'm not sure if others could hear properly.
Is my understanding correct?
His voice was breaking
okay. Can you hear me
down.
now?
Yes, can you please repeat
Okay. Can you hear
your
me
question
now?
Comment? Yes. Please go ahead.
Prabhuji, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So Bhagavata process is reading the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Pancaratriki process is deity worship in the temple and at home. So as a Grahastha, we have to continue both of them as a parallel process, you said. Is my understanding correct, Prabhuji?
As we discussed, as Prabhu said, that
is there
the Bhagavad process accompanies, so they are like go in parallel. It's not that Pancharatrika process on, Bhagavad on, or Bhagavad off, Pancharatrika on. It's not like that. So like the deity, like the arati is going on in the temple. The devotee in the temple, on the altar, the priest is offering. But this parallel kirtan is going on. During the Prabhupada sannyas ceremony also, Prabhupada said the mantras, tantras are going on, but you continue chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So that is my understanding, that they go in parallel. Because Pancharatrika process, there are a lot of details. There are books on deity worship. In temple, very high standards are followed, and that's the expectation. Yes. But they go in parallel. Right. That kirtan is going on.
Right. That's what I said. Like, as a Grahastha also, we have to take these processes parallelly.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Professor.
Can I add one or two more points?
Please, Prabhu.
Thank you. When Srila Prabhupada, when the deity Krishna Balaram temple deities were installed, Srila Prabhupada had mainly, he wanted all devotees to chant Hare Krishna. That's it. But because of in India, if he did not have all the big brahmanas come and do whole process, then the people would criticize him. And that's why Srila Prabhupada had done the all elaborate system for installing the Krishna Balaram deities and Radha-Shyam Sundar and Gaurnita in Vrindavan. But actually Srila Prabhupada's main thing was just chant Hare Krishna. That is the main thing in this Kali Yuga. Second thing, Nandini Mataji, as she mentioned, Srila Prabhupada, when the Dhananjay Prabhu, who was a beginning devotee from London, he was in Vrindavan, he was a temple president for many years. And Srila Prabhupada told him, he was a Grahastha. So Srila Prabhupada told him, you have the lot of Gaurnita deities and distribute Gaurnita deities to everyone. So he said, distribute everyone. Because that was the Srila Prabhupada, because Namo Mahavadanyaya. In the Kali Yuga, Lord has come in the form of Lord Chaitanya, most munificent incarnation. So worshipping the Gaurnita is the best process for, this is particularly, I'm talking about myself, I'm not qualified to worship Radha Krishna. So that's what it is, because Gaurnita, you just dress simply, you just offer something with love and devotion. Gaurnita accepts it. Gaurnita doesn't have that offenses. If you chant Hare Krishna, even sometimes with the Gaurnita, if you are not able to do whole process every day, if you just chant Hare Krishna to them, they'll be happy. And Srila Prabhupada wanted that. That's why he said, Dhananjay, make lot of Gaurnita and distribute them. So these are the few points. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. There's a very nice verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrika Vidhim Vina Ekantakir Harir Bhaktir Utpat Eva Kalpate. That means Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrikim Vidhi Vina. That means if we ignore these Shruti scriptures, Smriti scriptures, and the Pancharatrika process, and say, oh, I'll do what I want. Ekantaki Harir Bhakti. I'll just in my solitary home without guidance, I'll just do what I like to do, or my own Harir Bhakti. It will lead to Utpati eva kalpate. It will lead to unnecessary disturbance in the society. So, therefore, we must take guidance. I'll just read these 2 lines. So, and then the topic is the offenses. So then it's a good point to pause there. Deity worship has 2 divisions, namely pure and mixed with fruitive activities. For one who is steady, deity worship is compulsory. Observing the various types of festivals such as Sri Janmashtami, Ram Navami and Narsimha Chaturdashi is also included in the process of deity worship. In other words, it is compulsory for householder devotees to observe these festivals. So observing festivals is also part of deity worship, and it is also one of the 64 limbs of bhakti, and one must do. Even if one is at home, so one cannot say, oh, I am at home, what can I do now? The coronavirus, the temple is also not there, and we can't go and whatnot. Well, one can do. One can cook some nice bhoga for the Lord. One can hear, chant the glories. Let's say it's Sita Navami, so we chant about Sita Devi's glories. Let's say Ram Navami, we read or hear about Lord Ram. It's Narsimha Chaturdashi, which is coming very soon. We are already hearing about Prahlad Maharaj and etc. So in that way one can do the whole Aarti can come nicely dressed with Vaishnav Tilak and do Aarti and chant some bhajan, Narsimha Aarti, and one can still do the festival. We have to be a little flexible based on the situation, and that's one thing, especially for Grihasthas. Flexibility is okay. It's not that Mangal Aarti has to be at 4:30. If one can do it, it's fine. If one cannot do it and the children also want to be part of it, okay, let's do it at 7:30. That's fine. Like Bhagavatam is supposed to be at 8 o'clock in the temple, but we read at 9 in the evening. In the weekdays we read at 8 p.m. That's fine. That's better than not doing. So flexibility is absolutely fine. Whatever we are doing, as I mentioned, let's try to move to the next step. Even if it's a small baby step, absolutely fine. At least we're moving in the right direction. Anything before we stop, and then tomorrow we'll start with the offenses, which are a lot of offenses, so I don't want to scare today. So
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam.
Yes, please.
We have seen very nice photos of Shubhavilas Govind Prabhu's Nitai Dayal Nitai Gauranga, and I was requesting all the devotees to post their. I was thinking if you guys post your DT picture, it will be very nice. I'd like to post mine. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavad Pranam.
Yes, Mataji, please post. Thank you. That will be very nice. And today is Ekadashi, and today is off also for those who are even working from home. So give them a nice abhishek, if possible. Dress them nicely. Give them nice whatever fruits, flowers, tulasi, and yeah, it's a very good idea. We try to do once in 2 weeks on Ekadashi or alternate weekend. Again, that is not the best thing, but when we were getting DTs, we said, okay, you want to do once a month, you want to do once a week, you want to do every day. Some devotees do every day. That's great. I'm not at that level, but I'm taking inspiration from them. Maybe one day I will get there. Some devotees are offering 4 times, 5 times. I'm not doing that, but let's take inspiration. Let's not get too much guilty also. I'm not doing, I'm good for nothing, bad, this. What will that do? Nothing. So let's take inspiration and move in the right direction. Thank you, Mataji. It's a very good idea. Anyone else? Any closing comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Just a small point, what deity worship really does to us householders is that, we start building that relationship that Prabhupada inspired us to do that. Like, if a visitor comes at your home, you serve them so opulently, you make special dishes. Similarly, deity and the Lord themselves, they're not different, and they're actually coming in a form of a deity to accept whatever we have. Patram pushpam phalam tayam. So basically, at some point you start feeling, maybe I've been serving them only this particular dish. Maybe they feel like eating something different, and your relationship becomes more intense. Let me please them. Then you start reading about them. Then you want to go get this particular fruit or flower or whatever, at the time of the season, and that relationship is exactly what the relationship we have in our eternal abode, and that when we as householders start using our opulence, that's why Prithu Maharaj, he used all his opulences in serving the deity. That's why he perfected that. And we have so much opportunity to dress them, and at a point we as householders realize that I have no desire to buy saris for myself, but when I go and I see, this particular lace will look so good on the deity, let me stitch it, let me do this. Whole night you want to sit and stitch and involve other devotees in it. It becomes a collective service, and our heart gets cleaned, and then that becomes, you become so strong in serving them that the other limbs of bhakti, like hearing and chanting, get parallelly supported. So that's some of my realization from serving with other devotees in the temple, that we especially when the festival comes, everybody's thinking what backdrop will be there, what Mataji, can you get this lace, or can you get this, so we are all anxious and we forget our day-to-day struggles and just concentrate on pleasing the Lord. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Speaking so much from realization, your words show that. Mataji recently welcomed Jagannath Baldev and Subhadra Maharani. Recently means like 5-6 months back, correct? And already she had been serving Gaurnitai, and such an amazing service. You so nicely mentioned Prabir Prabhu and Mataji. They do so much service for the deities. I was last year, Nityanan Triodashi was there, and they were mentioning that how for next year Nityanan Triodashi's dress, Mataji starts to coordinate and meditate upon the deities, what dress will look nice, what pattern, what design, and coordinating design, tailoring, so many aspects. It takes 1 year to get the right. So the whole meditation is deity worship. So thank you for those. We have such amazing examples on our group. I feel so blessed and actually so humbled and feel so inspired by all of you. Thank you. Okay, so we will continue our discussion about deity worship tomorrow as from the purport, and we'll stop today here. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktavind ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.